Welcome back, guys. This is Triple Threat Reads. We are in part 4 of Wool Silo series. We read chapters 51 through 71. Hope you guys enjoy the video and get ready for the ride along with it. Hope you guys follow along. We put down the chapters we read from each video, so if you want to follow along, you're able to. Hopefully enjoy the video.
We just so we jump from the tension rising in the silo, right, straight into the rebellion. It opens up again with Lucas shooting McLean, one of the leaders of the.
Lucas didn't shoot anybody.
Lucas did shoot her. He killed her.
Yeah,
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the
And
grenade explosion killed Knox and
No, she
McLean.
shot her.
No,
Yeah, but the grenade is
Lucas
the one
shot
thing that
McLean.
ultimately killed.
Literally, there's a point later in the chapter where he has PTSD because he remembers the bullets going into her and watching it happen and realizing he was.
Yeah, but she was throwing a grenade.
Did you not read the last two chapters? Did he read the damn book?
Did you read
just
the book?
happened.
It literally
it just happened 2 chapters ago, or 1 chapter, 68 or 69 of the chapters. He goes, I shot her.
Mm-hmm.
No, that he shot. I know, I forgot that part, but I'm saying she was throwing a grenade, and ultimately the grenade is what killed her and Knox, in my opinion.
No, Knox didn't die until later down the levels when they were trying to escape. McLean was the first one dead, and as they were retreating, Knox dies because he found his wife and everything.
No, that wasn't Knox. Knox it was mentioned in passing that he died during the explosion.
Yeah, so that's what I was just about to.
Shirley's husband, I don't remember his name, was Marcus or something, but he died in battle.
He died when everyone was trying to. Okay, go ahead, Haley. Summarize the chapter before we start arguing about it. What happened?
Essentially, the silo's in chaos. They've started their uprising. There's war battles going on. Bernard has locked Lucas down into the server room, and him and Peter bring him meals. It's this trial run while they're getting things to simmer down. Eventually, things start to calm down, and Mechanic barricades themselves on the lower floor. There's still fighting happening, but the upper floor, they're kind of going back to regular. They're continuing their voting because they believe that they have it under wraps. And then Lucas gets initiated into being the official backup IT server guy. I don't know what the official title is.
He's shadowing.
Yeah, the official shadow. And he talks to somebody and essentially learns that the silos were created by the people who destroyed the world. Now we're following Juliet, who is fixing everything in the broken silo. And she discovers that she needs to get a pump running down in mechanical, but the problem is it's all flooded. So she takes one of the suits that they send out for cleaning and gets it all hooked up like a diver suit. And she goes down below, but when she goes down below, the air stops. She gets to the pump that she needs to. But then she notices that the air that's feeding into the suit gets turned off. And then also at this point, we realize that Walker has figured out how to tap into the radio frequency and picks up, and they all know, Walker and Shirley know that she's alive, and they're trying to communicate with her. She comes up for air after this crazy, she almost dies after sucking the air out of the bottom of the stairs, and comes up to find Solo just battered and on the brink of death. And he tells her that he doesn't think that they were alone the whole time, and that his name's not Solo, it's Jimmy. And that's where we leave Juliet. And I think that's all of it. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I think it was a great video. I think we wrap it up here. It's you hit all the points. Go home.
It was a crazy chapter. The whole thing of Solo dying, I was like, no way.
Is it just me? Or was I the only one who didn't care what was going on with Juliet?
No, that's the only thing I cared about.
Certain parts, yeah. The whole time she was like, I'm going underwater. I was just like, here comes the plot armor. Let's see how she gets out of this plot. Is the plot armor going to wear out? Nope, didn't. I was just
she survived going outside. She survived going underwater. What next?
Yeah, I was like, damn, this is some plot armor for sure.
Yeah. Was this Naruto?
I was more like, I was like, damn, Solo's dead. I can't believe this.
I don't really understand what happened to him.
I think he got.
Well, and
I
then
think
she
he
was
was
like teaching him
murdered.
how to bake bread. Yeah, he was murdered. There's somebody else with them.
It's crazy to think about because they've been there for like a while,
Yeah.
like
Well, and
at
they
least a
kept
month,
shadowing.
right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they kept foreshadowing that the like stuff would be moved, but they thought they were just being crazy. But
I thought it was like wild and kind of funny when mechanics Walker and Shirley heard Juliet trying to talk to Solo over her radio. I was like, oh snap, they know.
that was
Like,
crazy.
And then Shirley was funny. She goes, "Is that something from the past?" Like
She
just
was
like an
like-
old lady who doesn't know how like electronics work.
She
I
thought
thought that
time.
part was
Recording?
funny.
Yeah, like when were we Juliet ever underwater here? Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, they don't know she's underwater.
That's
Yeah,
true.
'cause she was
I
just
don't know
ready
why.
for some help from Solo.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I think the person who killed Solo is the one who like turned off the generator. I never really specifically said if it was turned on or off yet.
That's true.
Yeah, my
Um,
understanding was Juliet was trying to get these pumps running. Like first off, she was trying to get like smaller pumps running, but it would take like a year or two for the water to be cleared out. So that's when she decided to go be a deep diver and turn on the bigger pumps, so that way the water can be cleared out in like twice as fast. I mean, within a month or two compared to like years.
mhm.
Yeah, she's like, I don't have time for this. I gotta get this done.
Yeah, she's trying to get like the buried excavator or whatever it was that's buried to like dig a hole to
Just
her back
tunnel
to her
over there.
silo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a childhood dream, you know, like we can dig a hole to our friend's house and we can visit each other whenever we want.
No one will ever know where we are.
But yeah, if she does kind of go back outside and walk back there, I mean, what's the guarantee that she remembers what direction it's going to be in?
Well,
And
even
also,
if she
they're not
did,
just going to let her in.
yeah, like even if she did find
Well,
her way,
I mean,
they're
they
gonna be
can't
like,
really stop her
"Who's that?"
digging through the mine.
No, but I'm talking about if she goes outside and walks back to her silo.
No, her silence,
Oh, they won't
especially
let
with
her in.
Bernard,
No
they're not
way.
gonna let her in.
Yeah.
They're not gonna open that
No.
door up.
No, if she comes
Okay.
in through the first door incinerator, like,
You know
pop
how
it.
like the whole Juliet leaving the cleaning like kind of triggered the like fighting in the silo.
I feel like it's more because she was wrongfully sent out, and
It was
Mechanical was
both
like,
for
"That's my
sure.
people."
Anyways, I think it was both.
To each their own.
I thought when they heard her over the radio that they would just stop fighting. That peace was just restored. She was alive.
I don't think that's gonna be the case at all.
Yeah, like just walk back over. We're
Why
all
not?
peaceful now. We forgive. We'll make sure IT doesn't do anything to you. We'll have the deputy or sheriff Peter open the door. We'll hug. We'll go back to working on some power stuff. You know, live our lives. Like, no.
I can't believe how fast, not one but both leaders of the uprising, Knox and McLean
McLean.
died. I was like, not
Yeah,
even
just
one of
back
them
to
stayed
back.
alive to lead this shit. Like they just both were dead. Like okay, that was
Immediately, yeah.
fast.
What's the name of the guy who took over? I kind of forgot his name.
Jenkins?
Walker? Oh, Jenkins. Hmm.
Is it
No,
Jenkins?
Walker's still.
Yeah,
He's
Walker's the
old.
old guy who was working on the radio. I thought it was crazy that as soon as he got the radio working and then he finds out there's other silos, and then all of a sudden Bernard's plan to like go ahead and start blowing their wall up and start mowing them down, like as soon as he fixes it, they're in there. He's like, I
Right?
fixed it, grab the radio. He's like, a little late for that, pal.
The
We
pace of it
don't
was
need
crazy.
it anymore.
Like, no, we need it. Grab it. And Shirley's like, what do you need? And he's all messed up. He's like, antenna. And she's just grabbing, like, come on, I need your help. Tell me what you need.
I thought
It was-
I thought Shirley was gonna die whenever she was going to get like the transmitter to actually talk to
Same.
Juliet. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, is she gonna make it back in time? Like, are they gonna wait for her? Like, I hope they wait for her. Like, they gotta talk to Juliet. They gotta see where she's at. Like, when they
I
first
thought
got at the
she,
radio, started working, they heard another silo talking about a cleaning. So, like, is that this
yeah,
silo? And it's like,
no,
no,
because
it's a
she was
different
going
one.
to get because as soon as they heard the other silos, they didn't hear Juliet yet. At that point, they went to go get Jenkins to like, hey, we got the radio working, and turns out there's more than one silo. And I think Bernard in the last chapter said there's like
50.
50 something.
There's 47 left,
47.
what he said. Because
There's like
3
50
of
of
them
them.
that
There
are
was
like,
50.
there's
Dead.
total of 50, 3 are gone.
Yeah.
And they failed.
And he was like, I listened to them failing. I heard the horrors. And it's like, okay, sir.
I don't know why he said horrors. I guess for Lucas'
I
sake,
mean,
because like he likes
how is
watching
it not a
people go out.
horror?
Well, because he enjoys when people go out for the cleaning and dies. You remember he's saying he enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's a lot more different compared
That's
to
like
like a whole like population of
yeah.
people being like wiped out.
I mean,
No,
I get
think
what you're
he was listening
Get
to
it.
feel the gravity of. That's why he liked watching the cleaning, because it was like a sense of balance. It was keeping the horrors at bay.
And it was also like he was a lot younger. It was when he was shadowing. So like we don't know that he had this whole like complex or
if he always
sick
felt that way.
sick thrill from watching people go out and die. So I mean we don't really know that about his past. We didn't really learn too much about his past besides the fact that he shadowed for that position of head of IT.
Well, Lucas got to see his mom. Well, actually, from the last chapter, like when we ended the last video, we said that Lucas didn't know that Juliet was alive. Turns out he did know, and he was just been chatting with her this whole time.
Yeah, because when they first like he picks up the his phone and says, "Hey, how are you?" It's like there's already some familiarity there. It's not like Juliet, Lucas. There's none of that. It was like no, they've been chit chatting, and he hates it every time they go to like some serious type of conversation. He's like, I just want to care. I only want to talk about your favorite meal that you ever had.
Yeah.
And your favorite childhood book was. He's like, I don't want to be
Where your name
serious.
came from? Like, come on.
Have
Yeah.
you guys seen Love Is Blind at all?
We're talking about.
I'm trying to remember.
Huh?
No, you haven't seen it.
You don't know me.
I do know you.
Name
But
6
are
movies
you
I
like
haven't seen.
familiar with the concept
Bingo.
of Love
Could
Is
you-
Blind?
Can you refresh our memory, possibly?
Like people go into pods and they date before they see each other. The only way they can see each other is if there's a marriage proposal.
No, move on.
I told you. I told you. You didn't
All
wanna
I can
listen.
think about is Love Is Blind in these silo conversations.
I've seen Love on the Spectrum.
That's a good show too.
All-
Anyway, let's get
All
to-
I know is Juliet was just like, "Hey, you want to just kill him for me? Like, let's make this easier." And he's like, "No."
Yeah, save you a whole lot of trouble.
I gotta go now. See you.
Well, that's when he has
Peter's
like,
coming
PTSD, right? Because he killed McClane.
He didn't mention that.
Yes, but he was like literally talking about how he didn't want to be a part of it.
No, I
He, like-
didn't say that he didn't do it, but I said he didn't mention it.
Yeah, he did.
He did not mention it to Juliet that he.
Oh,
Killed
that's
her.
what you mean. I thought you just meant to the audience, which is us.
No. It's crazy how their guns were so much better. Like they had like modern
Yeah.
guns, and it's like.
They had the uprising had homemade guns, and they're like, "I got this nice
they had
fancy thing
PMC
right
though, too.
here."
I got my fucking automatic. Let me just clock it back and then just unload 30 rounds while you're still trying to reload your second shot.
Put your
It was
powder in.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy like how quickly they were being prepared, which I kind of thought like Bernard already like knew the protocol. Like even though he just showed it to Lucas that it says failed cleaning means prepared for war, Bernard already knew that. So as soon as the failed cleaning happened, there's no way he wasn't already preparing for the war. So like, and also IT has their own power source. So when they went up after cutting the power for them, they had all their lights and stuff still.
That's true. They had like a backup generator.
That's
but
why he's
for
like, we don't
servers.
need them because he has his
I
own
feel
source
like-
of power.
No, because even in the other silo, 17, yes, no, whatever silo Juliet's in
17.
now, yeah, 17. Then, the power in IT still works.
Yeah,
There.
because they have a generator.
Is it a
Well,
generator?
Separator. Yeah, separated generator. That's why it still works in 17. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, after all these years, it's not like an actual power supply. Because there's
I'm
no
under
way.
the impression it's just like a.
There's no way Jimmy is over here doing it.
Didn't it mention that it had a different power source? I can't remember.
Well,
That's what
they
I
say it's like
figured.
a like mysterious source of power that Juliet, at least Juliet, doesn't know where it's coming from because I don't think she knows that IT has its
Yeah.
own power.
Because she knows that they do at this point because that's the only part of the silo that the power really works. But I mean, they have their own phone lines to the 47 other silos. So why wouldn't they have their own individual powers going from all of them to their IT rooms? Why wouldn't that be necessarily the same?
I see what you're saying. I just the text doesn't confirm or deny your theory.
No, it does not.
It's a good theory though.
But I don't think it's a generator because Juliet would have been all up in that.
That's true. I think it was sweet how she noted that she could only sleep in the like work room because all the other rooms were like
Trashed.
not cool. Yeah, and shitted.
Solo, Jimmy, whatever all his name is now.
His name's Jimmy.
He don't matter. He's dead. Just move on from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like how we tried moving on from Juliet 2 chapters or 2 like chunks in a row. We're like, oh, she's dead. Oh, she's dead now.
She's
No.
really gone.
Juliet's still alive.
Yeah, I was
It's
like, is
crazy.
she finally dead? I mean, I don't want her to die, but I'm like,
No.
I'm kind of indifferent at this point.
I feel like this should also have been marketed as horror. I don't know, like the water scene, like really stressed me out. Like that's one of those things that's like super horrifying to me.
If it was
Guys,
just
I was just like really depressed for this whole section
it
of
was a
book.
stressful.
It was just so sad.
situation.
I think me and
Mhm.
Joe are on the same page when there's like usually like the main characters like in a certain situation like there's no way they're gonna die here. That makes no sense.
But like he just kept dropping them when we thought like in the beginning I have trust issues with the author, you know?
So far, yeah. I can see that. But no, I think it's like the relationship between Peter and Lucas is a little like questionable because how Bernard was telling Lucas like you guys are gonna work hand in hand, him as mayor and you as head of IT, but he has this sense of feeling that Peter looks down on him for some reason, especially since he's out in the action and he's just bunkered away.
Reading.
Mhm. Did somebody get this man a shower? He was like, "Yo, I
Yeah,
stink."
It's like, what does that smell? He smells the book. He's like, it's not the book. He's like, oh, it's me.
He's like, "Oh, it's me, man." No, I think that there was just an air of competitiveness for Bernard's approval that just kind of spurred like this weird tension between him and Peter.
But it doesn't look like Lucas really wants it at all. He's kind of just being thrown into this, and no matter like kind of what he says, he's kind of like terrified to like kind of speak out. And but he also like kind of is, like just going with it.
I feel like it's that sense. That's how he's feeling, but he also is like, oh, I'm able to talk to Juliet being here.
Yeah, but he didn't know that going in.
I think that's the reason why he's pretty much also
Like,
just
putting
going
up with
along
it?
with everything because he gets to talk to
Yeah.
Juliet.
Most likely, yeah.
And then
Probably.
his mom finally got to visit him, or they allowed his mom to visit him. And then because
Yeah, he was.
worried. And then the
They
voting
mentioned-
was back on, and
His mom felt like an
the voting
NPC.
for mayor. It got delayed apparently, but
Yeah, I got
his
delayed
mom was
during
like,
the start of the
"Oh, are you
uprising.
gonna vote?" And he's like, "The voting got delayed." She's like, "No, it's back on." And he's like, "Oh shit!" So there's like Bernard is it Bernard?
Yeah.
Bernard's keeping secrets still away from Lucas.
All right, I have a question for y'all. What did you think about it being revealed that a like corporation did this as like their emergency backup because they saw this coming? That's the first part. And then the second part is like, why do you think they're not transparent with everybody about why they're there? Like, do you think that would cause less issues?
I think it was kind of said like the other 3 silos that are gone did, and that's why they're gone.
Because they were open and honest about everything.
What's the saying? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And it's also like, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that the government in general and like real life keep away from us
True.
that like, do we really want to know? But yeah, I kind of agree that if since the other three silos figured it out and now they're just all gone. I mean, if they knew from the very jump, was it a very like different possibility of what would have happened? Maybe, but at some point, like kind of like how the silo's been their life for all these years, only hundreds of years at this point, we find out that maybe they would have tried to explore more, like going outside more, and be like, you're keeping other secrets from us. Like this isn't the truth anymore after so many years, and be like, I don't know if I can believe that now, because like,
It's
what
only
if that
been like
isn't true?
100 years, though.
Yeah,
I feel like it's like when they first started being people started being in the silos, like from the very beginning. Everyone knew about it, but then eventually it's like, the kids and stuff that were born, they're like, oh, don't worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. And then eventually it just became, or either that or like, hey, you're young, don't worry about it. This is your environment. This is what you're growing up in. Or
Mhm.
it's like, hey, the less people know about this and why they're here and what this is, the better. Because it seems like maybe everyone who knew about it when they first went into the silo, like, hey, we got a lot of problems. Everyone knows what's going on. There's no hiding anything. So like the more like later on in the years, more people are like don't know, and they just kept it more and more secretive over the years.
I can see that. And then it just worked out that way.
It could be. It doesn't really
Yeah,
say for sure. That's what
that's
what
true.
I think.
unless there's some possible like plot hole we're missing, because like, how long are these people's lifespan?
True.
Because like,
That's
there has to
true.
be someone
Well,
who's
how old was Marnes and the first mayor? I don't remember her name.
they're very old.
They were
They're like,
old,
probably
right?
like in their
70s.
60s, if I 60s, 70s, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like
But
young
like,
old.
that's only like 30 years, 30, 40 years away from like it all starting. And they have like the feel of
Oh
them being
wow.
there for like generations and generations, when in reality, I mean,
Mhm.
it's only like really like one or two generations, really. Not counting the people who originally went in the silo from that generation, and then like two other ones, like
Right.
kind of. So it's like, how don't they all know?
Well, isn't a
Because like,
generation 10 years? Every 10
yeah, I
years is
guess,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
yeah, but
So
there's
Ten
like,
7
years is a
yeah, still,
generations.
but
generation.
those people of those generations are like, they live. Like my mom's still
It,
alive. She's generations older than me.
well,
They
I'm saying
live.
like it probably got
Grandpa's
to this.
still alive.
It got to the point of a certain amount of generations where they're like, they don't need to know everything, or they got
You
to the
think
point
so?
where kind of like family history, like you just stop sharing it with the generations. Like if your family was never really into your generation,
Wait, it
your
is true
history,
though. After like
it
7
falls
years,
off.
7 generations, no one's gonna remember you or something like that. In less than that, it might even be 3. I don't remember, but
It just eventually it falls
it
off because
just falls
everyone's
off.
just like we don't need to share it
Yeah, but you
anymore,
forget
or
people.
they start
Oh
making
yeah,
everything secretive.
yeah, but it's only been hundreds of years,
It's only
and
been
like,
100 years.
there's only been hundred years. So like, one generation told this other generation what are the odds that they're dead and forgot this information.
That's when it could have started being secretive when everything happened. I mean,
Because my
who knows
only,
if everything started out being secretive, or if it was always secretive, or what?
how do you get all these people in a silo
I think it's always been
for
secretive.
whatever reason? Yeah, but how do you get these people in the silo and be like, trust us, and then the world's over?
It's
Like,
kind
how
of
do you
like,
get
Okay,
those people
listen.
inside of the
Okay,
silo
so
hey, the
think
without
world's
about
telling them?
okay.
ending.
Let me talk. Let me talk. Okay, so like it's a giant think about a giant corporation, right? And they know the world is ending. All those people at the corporations have families, right? And because they work for this corporation, they have a hot seat for the silo. They want to live, they want to preserve their destiny. So they
How big
get
is this company that they can fill 50
think about how
silos full of
big
people?
the freaking companies are in our world. What's that one that owns like basically everything, like Greystone or something?
Couldn't
Like,
Yeah.
couldn't
like
tell you.
the reach is a lot further than we think, and I think it's like this giant corporation. Like, think about when they did Fallout, how it was like the rich upper class. It's the people who were in the know that I think got filed into this silo. That's my
But my
opinion.
point is, it definitely wasn't a secret. And also, how do you keep that many people mouths shut? To like,
Mm.
hey, oh, you can't talk after you once you have babies in here. They can't know anything about this, that, or that. Like,
Well,
yeah, there's
it
certain
could have
things
been
that they could have.
secreted from
Shut
the
up.
start.
Shut up. It could have been so many things of that they kept secret in the first place, like the bunker room, the history that they gathered, what the true intentions of the silo was for. But the fact of like when this happened and why the world ended or when it ended, how is that all unknown to all these people?
I feel
How
like
do
the
you keep all those people's
original,
mouths shut?
the only way for that to have worked, in my opinion, is having like certain people be in the know who orchestrated it all at the very beginning.
But the people who first originally entered the silo, how would they know?
They could
How
have
would they
gotten
not
people
They're gonna
who
know?
don't have
know.
no idea about it because
They're
it's like in
gonna know.
Fallout. Everyone who went into the Fallout shelter, they didn't know the intentions of it. They didn't know how long they were going to
Yeah,
be
like I
there.
said, there's certain
That's true.
aspects of it that you can keep secret, like the hidden
Mhm.
bunker, the reasoning behind all this and whatnot. But like the fact that where they came from and why the world ended, how is that not known by anybody else besides the specific some who've read some book?
Didn't say.
Valid.
It's just
Plot
Consider
hole.
it.
Plot hole.
Got him. Oh, I thought you said got him.
No, plot hole.
I don't know.
Um,
I mean, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's so far it's been really good. I mean, can't wait for the ending to see what happens to everybody and ready for the second book.
I have a hot take.
I only like cold takes.
What's
Okay,
the
well,
cold take?
Yeah, what's the cold take?
I don't have a cold take.
All right,
Okay, what's the
well,
hot take?
what's the lukewarm
I
take?
don't like it.
You don't like
You
the
don't like
book?
the book
I'm
anymore?
interested to see how it plays out. However, I don't think it's original in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, when did this book come out again?
2012, I think.
I mean, it's also dystopian, which is kind of like there's only so like far you can go with it. The only like aspect of it that's kind of like different is like how they live, like
The
their living
psycho aspect
situation.
of
Well,
it.
even in like the sci-fi genre, like we're sitting here comparing things to Fallout, like because that same logic tracks. I don't know. I guess maybe it's unique in the sense the way that he uses death as a like way to propel the plot forward. But like also it's just really depressing and there's hardly any hope. Right now at least I'm not enjoying it. I don't see a way out of it for these people.
There might not even be a
No,
way
there's
out.
there is no way out of it for
So
these
what's the
people.
other two books about then?
That's what I'm kind of
Uh,
interested in. Like, how is this not a one book series
Right?
at this point? Because like, where does it go from here? I'm interested to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it for the most part. I mean, some parts. I mean, it's kind of like any book I've read where there's like multiple main characters. Where at some point I don't care what this character is doing, but I only care what these people are doing, and then it'll kind of like flip flop. Where I'm like, I don't care what this guy's doing anymore. I'm now interested in what
yeah,
these
I
people are
was gonna
doing.
say that.
True.
I was
Yeah,
like,
But
there are
at
boring
first, because
parts.
I was like, I care about everything about Juliet because we found out she was alive. And then I was like, screw Juliet, what's going on with Lucas? And I got to the point, screw Lucas, what's going on with the uprising? And then I'm like, oh snap, screw them and the uprising, screw Lucas and the uprising. What's going on with Juliet again? And then I'm like, it's just like keeps jumping back and forth of what to feel and who you like interested in and stuff like
yeah, I
that.
think I'm gonna
For
probably get
sure.
more back into Juliet's story now that there's
That
Jimmy's
Solar's
dead,
dead.
and now
Jimmy's
there's some
dead.
other stranger in there apparently.
Who's
Which
the stranger? Why weren't they
why
friends?
now?
Yes.
I guess he
Plot.
saw an
That's why.
opportunity to kill like both of them.
He said both of them.
Yeah, but he didn't get both of them.
No, he did not. Juliet keeps living somehow. Girl can hold her breath.
She
She's
keep it
got that
pushing.
plot armor. I feel like she's gonna be in the second book.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Do
either.
you think it's a whole new story
Yeah.
for a series?
I mean,
Like
I'm kind of
continuing?
interested at
I
this
wouldn't put
point.
it past him.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him past them either. I mean, we've already been through 2 stories, technically 3 stories at this
He's
point.
got 50 more. He's got 47 more silos to tell us about.
Yeah,
That is
that's
true.
that's true as well. No, 46.
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry. No,
I mean,
the 17 might.
technically, he can tell us about the dead ones too.
Hey, why isn't Silo 1 responding to that?
They could be one of the dead ones. They didn't tell us specifically
No.
which 3 are
That's true.
dead.
But he reports
Silo-
to Silo 1.
No, Silo 1 hasn't responded to Juliet, I believe.
Like Bernard was like, Silo 1, we have a problem or something.
Yeah, and then he has to him reporting like, "Hey, we have a problem," and that was pretty much the end of it. It didn't really can say any other further conversation because when they plug the jack in to like talk to the different silos, they have the headset on and it's just beeping until someone answers. So unless there wasn't anyone answering, we wouldn't have heard that line of dialogue from him. So someone responded to him,
Got it.
and that's why then he wanted Lucas to code the
Switchboard with lights.
the switchboard with lights so that way when a dead silo calls, they could just ignore it. But is it dead if there was someone calling?
No, Bernard just didn't
It
want to
was
hear
just
from
because of
Juliet.
Juliet.
Yeah, I
He's like,
know,
"You
but
can't talk to
he
me."
doesn't think that has
Does.
answered it before. He doesn't know that Lucas has been talking to her,
No.
so that's why he was kind of making that point of like they're the dead silos. Don't just put the red light comes on for those. Those are calls we can ignore.
Mhm.
But I thought it was funny how
Didn't
Bernard
they
kind of
call
like
whenever Lucas was like introducing himself finally too? Didn't they call Silo 17 the one that Juliet's in, and he was worried about her?
no, Juliet was
No,
calling.
Juliet called them.
I was just about to get to this too before I was rudely interrupted.
No, you weren't.
Anyways, yes, I was because
You were not rudely interrupted. Now you.
what was
were.
I just now?
Now you were. But before you weren't.
Before I was politely interrupted, is what you're saying?
Sorry.
No, when Juliet called and he was like going to call some other silo, or at least he was telling Lucas about the switchboard, and he saw that a dead silo was calling, and he was very curious. He's like, "A dead silo is calling? What?" And he plugged it in, and then heard Juliet's voice and kind of crapped himself.
Yeah.
But Lucas introduces himself to
It's
Silo
iconic.
17.
Well,
the one
and
Juliet's
Juliet-
in. Of course,
No, he
she was
didn't.
Juliet's in
underwater.
17. No.
That was over the
when they first-
walkie-talkie. That wasn't over like the lines to call other silos. That was over the walkie-talkie when they
That's
found
walkie-talkie.
Walker found the different frequencies to hit the other silos.
No,
This is like Bernard talks to Juliet for a split second, and she
No.
tells him she's coming from him. She's gonna murder him,
Yeah.
and like she even admits every time she calls Lucas that she hopes Bernard picks up because she has words
Yeah.
for him.
More words from than the last
are
time.
you guys reading the book?
Yes.
Well, obviously we are.
No,
And you're
I
not.
do.
After Lucas's visit his mom, right?
This is
Right.
before. This is
I'm not
before he
talking-
visited his
Way
mom.
before. It's like
No,
when she just gets into
listen.
17.
I'm talking about after he sees his mom, she leaves and Bernard's like, "Hey, I think it's time to introduce you to the other silos." Because whenever Bernard's like, "Hey, don't talk to them. They'll get mad if you don't know whatever certain things." So Lucas puts on the headset and he's freaking out. Whenever he had it on backwards, because he's
Oh yeah.
yeah. Apparently that didn't happen to you guys. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We thought we were talking about the wrong point. No, he thought he was in trouble because he thought Bernard found out that he was talking to Juliet.
Yeah, Bernard he plugged the jack into Silo 17, and Lucas had to introduce himself. Right?
No, Lucas was like sweating that it was gonna be a confrontation, and he like hallucinates for a second that he's gonna plug it into 17 and be like, haha, gotcha. But instead he plugs it into the correct one and he speaks to the guy he's supposed to.
Yeah, because he got to introduce himself to the
Yeah.
silo. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy doing this now. Or in the future, or whenever. I'm learning everything. I'm shadowing, stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's what I was saying. He got
Sorry.
it all early stuff.
James, where'd you go?
I'm here.
Feels like you booted down.
I thought you got frozen for a second. I was like, damn it.
People started yelling and I was scared.
I was like, more editing.
I was just listening.
Yeah.
No,
I just want to know how this ends,
yeah, like
We're almost
how
there.
much more can there be in 2 more books?
right?
I feel like it's either continues the story of maybe they different other characters, but I think it might be just a whole different story. But I feel like Juliet's going to be.
Well, you have the second book. Read the summary.
You're the only one who doesn't have it. Go get
Yeah, I
it.
can't get it
Sneak peek
until
of what we're going to be reading next.
I gotta get paid before I can go get it again.
This is what we're reading
okay.
next. Hopefully, it's as good as this one.
All right, so
After
what are the
after we
final
finish this
chapters?
series, we should be watching the show.
So we're reading 71 to the end now, huh?
Yep.
We're finishing the
Next
book.
part will be our last part. So hopefully everyone, I doubt, never mind. Hopefully everyone who was reading with us enjoyed it and can share their thoughts. What do you guys rate the book so far?
As a
It's a
first
3
time
for me. 3
reading,
out of 5.
actual
I
reading
don't-
book,
1 out of 5 or 1 out of 10? 1 out of 10. On a scale of 1 out of
1
10.
out of 5.
All right, for good read purposes, 1 out of 5. Go ahead, Joseph. What is your
for it being
rating?
my first book, I would give it
Out of 5.
a 3.5. Like, I'm enjoying it, but there's also some parts where it's just like, let's go. Let's get rid of this plot armor. Who's dying? Like, I know someone's dead. Like, come on, let's get to it. Like, descriptions of things, I feel like kind of like, for me, are too long.
Yeah, you
And
said
then-
that about the stairs too.
Yeah, the stairs. It's too dang.
That was the
too dang
first thing he
long.
mentioned in the first video.
Yeah.
The stairs, the
Like,
description.
these are so boring.
They describe things too much, I think, in my opinion. I mean, overall, I
Yeah.
do enjoy the book and enjoy the characters. I would give it a 3.5. Mostly for the characters and what's been going on
For sure.
and how the story's been getting carried.
Haley, what is your rating so far?
It's either, I think it's a 3 or a 2.5, depending on how it ends. The ending could really give it the 3 stars or 2.5. Just because I have read a lot in this genre, and it feels like a copy paste of all the tropes. The other thing I do like is the way he uses death as a plot device, and it's not just like needless or like senseless. It like truly drives everyone forward.
Okay, I'd kind of give it like a 3 in my opinion as well. I do like the characters. I mean, most of the books I've read, there's always been, especially with more than like one kind of main character you're following around. Not to say they're main characters, but like, what am I trying to say?
Protagonist?
The protagonists. That a lot of times, I don't care what they're doing. I care what this person's doing. I care, and then flip flop, whatever. So like in those aspects of it, I kind of wish I was more attracted to like all of the characters and what's going on, and like, oh, I can't wait to get back to this, but
Yeah.
I'm so glad to find out what's going on now. It's like I haven't read too many dystopian books, like 2 other ones, Dark Lullaby and George Orwell, 1884? 1984.
Mhm.
As in compared to those, I mean, I feel like they've all kind of hit like similar tropes, like the government, bad guy, lying and doing bad things to the people. So I mean,
Violence, yeah.
violence, yeah. So I mean, I give it a 3.
Did you read the Hunger Games?
No.
Okay.
Why would I do that to myself?
I'm just curious.
No, I've only read those 2 like dystopian books, George Orwell and Dark Lullaby, which I like Dark Lullaby a lot. There wasn't a whole lot of violence, but like kind of like the aspect of it. I feel like I would have rated Dark Lullaby higher than this book if I was a mother, because to me, I
was a
feel like
mother.
it appeals to mother because it's pretty much about like
No, I know.
motherhood kind of in a way. But no, I like the book overall. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see where the rest of the book goes, especially like how this is going to be into a second and third book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
what, 11 chapters left, and then the epilogue?
I think it's.
you
a
can count
little
that as a
earlier.
chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Let me see.
you can count the epilogue as a chapter, Joseph.
It's
I don't know.
13 chapters more.
Okay, so we'll see. We'll have Haley break down everyone's
Oh my gosh!
score.
Sorry, I just look at. There's like a little Q&A with the author, and they literally ask why no elevator. So I'm not the only one.
Didn't we go over this the last part?
No, I.
The elevator?
That was his,
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
actually
I feel like someone brought this up.
I
And
did.
you referenced it in the book as well.
No, he didn't.
I swear he
I
did.
did. I
No,
did
I didn't.
reference it in the book, but it was just
Oh,
me
you
and you.
did.
Haley wasn't around
Oh,
because I told you I
dang,
glimpsed
okay.
through the
I
book.
thought we were triple threat reads.
We were done
I
with
didn't
the
want to
episode.
spoil it that I was glimpsing through the book and actually saw that question.
I
so
mean,
I
it's at
didn't
the
spoil
end of the
it.
book. The book's over at that
So
point.
when
I should
we're
just
no,
say.
this was like early in the book, like our first or
Oh, you
second
saw the end.
video. But so Haley's gonna write. I'm gonna have Haley write down our ratings, and when we finish the book, we're gonna see if our ratings change.
Let me
Or
write
Yeah,
that
you
down.
want to
if we
write that down
still-
right now?
Yeah, I
if
am.
we
I have a pen.
still feel the same about it. So we're gonna finish the books from 71 to the end, and talk about those chapters and see how we feel about it then. See if our ratings change overall.
James, yours was a solid 3.
Yeah, solid 3. I think also we'll give our grand review of the whole book as well, of course, at that
See,
video because
I
it's a
think-
lot less chapters.
And yeah, in the
Mhm.
last video we'll give it out of 10, our combined score.
What? Out of 10? An average, maybe, but why out of 10?
Yeah, average score.
Average score, whichever we decide to do.
Neither of my kids.
Haley's still looking for a pen, but we're gonna do this outro.
Yeah, she's not on the computer with notepad or notes or anything.
It's fine.
It's more tangible, James.
So we'll see you on the next one. This is what we're gonna read 71 through the end, and then we'll mention it again in the other video. This is gonna be our next book, so give you guys time at the end of this video. Go, hey, go pick up that book, or don't, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, they're not paying us, so it's up to you.
I
Yeah,
have
they
it
don't pay us.
written.
There's our score. So
What did you give it, Haley?
2.5, possibly 3, depending on the ending.
So
Okay.
we'll get our average at the end of the book. So like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram.
Sure.
Subscribe to YouTube. Ring the bell, whichever. So like and subscribe and all that BS. We'll see you on the next one.